Okay, so as I mentioned before in the other streams, I'm a huge horror fan, huge Halloween fan. I've talked about some of the mazes that they've announced throughout the few weeks or so, and they finally announced all the remaining mazes, and then the TRAM for the Horror Nights at Hollywood. So that's what I'm gonna try to do now. So I'm going to show you the screen of my laptop so you can see the website. So let's see here. So I already mentioned, we already talked about in the last couple streams or so, that they announced the Stranger Things Season 4 maze, the Exorcist Believer maze from the movie that's coming out in October of this year, and then they did the Last of Us based on the video game. So that's one of the main ones, I think. I think this is the one that's going to drive more people to go to Halloween Horror Nights this year. And just as a little side note, I did look up certain dates for September. I usually go in September because it's not as crowded, but also it's a little cheaper, or actually sometimes it's significantly cheaper. I already looked at the September 16th one that I was looking at, which is a Saturday, and then that one already seems to be sold out. And this is for the express ticket, because we've tried the regular standard ticket for Horror Nights, and we did like 2 or 3 mazes, and that was a pain in the ass. So after that, we've only been doing the express, and for the express for September 16th, that one's already sold out. So I'm thinking a lot of people are more interested in Horror Nights this year because of The Last of Us. Obviously, we saw the series earlier this year, but of course this maze is based on the game. And then we also have the Chucky Ultimate Kill Count, which was announced already, and then the Unmasked Monsters, which I already talked about in the last stream. So the ones that they've announced this week, and the remaining mazes, because in total they were going to have 8, so now they have all the 8. So the one that they've announced this week was Evil Dead Rise, based on the film that just came out in April of this year. So we have the Evil Dead have risen again. An ancient curse rises in a new setting, an LA apartment building. Now, I know that the film was actually shot in New Zealand, but that's what they're going to go with. The Book of the Dead is about to unleash unimaginable horrors on you and your Scream Squad. Evil has come home. So that's the little summary of this maze. The other one is the Monsters of Latin America. And they're talking about these Latin American monsters, and I'm going to have trouble mispronouncing these, even though I speak Spanish. But I'll give my best attempt here. So we have the Monsters of Latin America. 3 times the legends, 3 times the terror. Ten cuidado with La Muerte as your guide. You and your Scream Squad must try to survive 3 terrifying legends. The blood-sucking Tihuelpuchi or Tlahuelpuki. Like I said, I'm going to have problem mispronouncing, especially that one. Owl-faced a witch, La Lechuza, and bone-ripping El Silbón. I'm sure a lot of you guys are out there that know exactly how to pronounce that. Like I said, I'm a Spanish speaker and I still couldn't do that. Although I think some of these names are not even Spanish. I think they're more like Mayan or Aztec or something like that. The other one here we have Holidays in Hell. It's a fear-long celebration. From New Year's Eve to Thanksgiving, your favorite holidays to celebrate with your friends are going to hell. 'Tis the season to scream in the holiday nightmare. The scarier, the merrier. So those are the mazes that Hollywood or Universal Studios Hollywood Horror Nights has announced. They also announced the Terror Tram, the Exterminators. And let me just click on here because I know there's a video, but because Universal Pictures or Universal Studios in general, just the company in general, is just very anal for you to use any of their clips, even though it clearly falls under fair use. So I'm not going to play the video, but they're talking about this tram. I know in the past they've had Chucky as the host, and then they've had this clown that was the host of the tram before. For this one, they decided to go with this Exterminators thing. I mentioned this yesterday in the stream. You probably didn't hear it, but I'm not super excited about this theme for the TRAM, but I'm sure it'll still be cool. But we'll see how it turns out. And you know, this is the tram that takes you usually to where the Bates Motel is, which I really like. That's the highlight when it comes to Horror Nights for me, when we get into that area of the Bates Motel. So that's what they've announced here. So September 7th is where Halloween Horror Nights begins in Hollywood. The one in Orlando, I believe it starts on September 1st. So that's what I wanted to talk about here today, very briefly. So so that's what we have here for Halloween Horror Nights. Let me know, you guys, if you guys are gonna go to this. I might be going. I just don't know exactly when, but I'll be going to this Halloween Horror Nights. So let me know your thoughts on these mazes. And actually, one last thing here. I mentioned last time too that I thought that they were gonna have a Megan maze, because Blumhouse has been doing some mazes in the last couple years. And last year they did Freaky and they did Black Phone, which was one of the weakest mazes. But I thought there'll be more promising to have a Megan maze. You know, you see her doing creepy stuff and her dancing around, and I think there's more. It's just more promising when it comes to a Megan one. They're not doing it for whatever reason, and I know they have I think it's part of Universal, so they didn't go that route. But yeah, that was it. So let me know, guys, if you guys are gonna go to this or if you're doing to the Orlando one.